love it. We have a big show. So many highlights from last night. Go ahead, Kyle. Go ahead.
Is it because there's no shots to be had?
Oh.
Maybe that's the thing.
Excuse me, Muscles.
What?
What?
Can we get to the game? Isn't there a football game?
Not until we talk about Salute to Service.
Okay.
Of course, we're all wearing the same pins, even though we all look very different this morning. It is an NFL year-round effort to honor, to empower, to connect with our nation's service members, veterans, their families, through long-standing partnerships that support our military community. I think I speak on behalf of everyone here at this breakfast table in saying thank you. Thank you to our armed forces for serving in the United States, for taking care and protecting us around the world. Join the NFL. Join us in saluting to service by visiting NFL.com/salute. Okay, lead block highlights time.
Titans, Colts. Should we get to it? Did this one go the way we all thought it would? I don't know about that. Let's go down to Nashville. Colts, Titans, Ryan Tannehill. Got to get this thing going. Want to be the AFC South Division leader early on. Look at this play. Naturally, Deontay Foreman, for everyone who started him in fantasy, big points early. They lined up Derrick Henry at fullback there and faked to him and threw to Foreman as a cool play. And so is this. Jonnu Smith with a walk-in or a skip-in. Jonnu almost got a little cute at the goal line there, but he runs it in. Not often you see that speed jet sweep to a tight end. No. Really cool, though. He has 7 touchdowns this year. That is the most among tight ends in the NIFL. And they were doing it all on motion. Colts went for it. They just said, I mean that metaphorically, I mean that literally. 4th and 2 in the third quarter. Move the chains. We're going to go to Zach Pascal, 9 yards. 4 plays later, 4th and 1. Jonathan Taylor, move the chains. Frank Reich's just like, let's just do it.
A lot of 4th downs, man.
A ton. 4th and goal, though. Look what happens. Jordan Wilkins stuffed. This is a wild stat. Teams that go for it on 4th over 5 times are 1 in 37 over the last 12.
It's too greedy.
Yeah, analytics. But maybe not tonight.
Analytics.
Let's see. Analytics. We love it. Now, moving on to the special teams. This was not good. The Titans have a brand new punter. Again, it's Trevor Daniel. And look at this. He punts it 17 yards. Peter, in a game situation, could you catch a snap and punt at 17 yards in the NFL?
I think I could. I don't want to insult Trevor Daniel. Third different punter.
He knew it right away, too. He knew it right away.
Oh, of course he did.
Yes, punt, pass, and kick, I can go 20.
Of course you could. Come on, Peter. I'm trying to hype you up. Touchdown, Nyheim Hines. All right, so we're showing a lot of Trevor Daniel. Nyheim Hines, I think, was the best player in the game last time. But Trevor Daniel, let's make up for it now. Trevor Daniel, oh, no. Welcome to the Titans, Trevor. That is blocked. And I want to give this gentleman credit. It was blocked by E.J. Speed.
Best name in sports.
That's I mean, unless it's Whitney Merciless, Peter. E.J. Speed, and it was recovered by T.J. Carey. Speed and Carey, it all sounds very 70s to me. Now, field goal attempt for Steven Gostkowski, has 3 Super Bowl rings. And he's really good at 50-plus, but he has been bad under 50. It's an odd thing. It's like a guy who can hit a three-pointer but can't make a free throw. He misses again. That's his 8th of the season, most in the league by far. Phillip Rivers, who's Pittman? The Rook. Michael Pittman gets 100 yards on the day and a nice catch and run here. Doesn't quite have the biceps of his father, but he does have a really good game. Yeah. Here we go. And look at him. Brissett is in the game.
3rd and 1.
At the goal line, and maybe the player's favorite player on the team, Jacoby Brissett. Look at him. It's always smiles and hugs, and he ices this thing as Phil Rivers hands out the handshakes. Guys, Colts in a blowout. 34-17 at Tennessee. Both teams 6-3.
A.J. Brown, 1 catch, 21 yards.
And a huge drop down the sideline early. Let's hear, though, from the winning quarterback, number 17, North Carolina State, Phillip Rivers.
We just got to finish with touchdowns. That's going to be, at least that's my initial takeaway from tonight offensively. Other than that, we were very efficient and didn't punt it until the end. And we threw it well and ran it well. Everybody contributed. The guys up front played great. So I think the biggest thing is getting touchdowns down there in the red area. That'll be the biggest thing we can clean up.
You know I love to see Lip on top of this playoff fixture. He and his team move in first place in the AFC South. The Titans slide down into one of the wild card slots for now. Nate, most impressive part of Indy's win last night?
I would say Phillip Rivers in the offense. Now, Phillip Rivers wasn't blowing you away statistically, but yesterday I came on the show and I said the difference between him and the other older quarterbacks, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, he's wildly inconsistent. And that wasn't me taking a shot at him. It's just me being observant. Last night, he delivered the ball, and they were balanced. 29 receptions by receivers, 29 attempts on the ground. Talk about a balanced offense. And as much as I can say that Phillip Rivers is inconsistent, maybe he just doesn't have all of his guys at his disposal. Didn't have a huge game by T.Y. Hilton, but he was out there. Last week he was out, I believe, with a groin injury, and they had 10 guys that touched the rock. Wow. We compliment other offenses when they do that. Now, why not the Colts? So this could be Phillip Rivers looking in the mirror, maybe the team, the offense looking in the mirror saying, if all of us are on the field, we're as good as anybody. And I feel like this was a well-balanced game on the offense side of the ball.
Phil's going to have to run the show. If Indianapolis wants to beat Kansas City, if they want to beat Pittsburgh, all these teams, they're going to need firepower. They're going to need weapons, and they have one in Naheem Hines. Watching that game,
talk about it.
This guy's got burst. I mean, he was the most explosive player on the night on either side, I think.
Look at him.
Really, I'm just breaking tackles, doing it effortlessly. And let me point this out. He did not do the crazy celebrations last night, the backflips and the roundoffs and stuff. And I'm glad he didn't, because you can very quickly become the celebration guy, and that's your reputation. Last night, I mean, that's fine. He does a little dance, but he wasn't doing Mary Lou Retton. Last night, he was just a great player and a really cerebral player. We fell in love with him because before the draft, we asked him, why should people draft you? And he said, well, look at the economics of the thing. You're getting a return man, a receiver, and it was an amazing thing. And last night, I thought he had another great quote after the game. It was his 24th birthday last night, which is amazing. And he said, this is my favorite birthday. I'm 24. This is my Kobe year. And, like, he is locked in and a great player, entertaining as hell, but he can just run the ball. Very impressed with Hines last night.
4 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. Or last 3 weeks, I'm sorry. Last 3 weeks, he has 4 touchdowns. So, to your point, it's not a shtick guy. Like, he's here.
No, he's really good.
He's really good.
People always text me before the draft, right before their fantasy draft, like, who's the guy in the late rounds that I should take? And I told everyone, Michael Pittman Jr. Like, he's built like Vincent Jackson. I think I said it a million times in our little Zoom sessions that we had when the quarantine started. And yeah, he has like that body type, you know, like Phillip Rivers, like.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, and I said it. Well, that sucks. I said it all on the show right here.
In 3 months.
Yes, of course. So anyway, love that he had his breakout game. First career touchdown for him. He had a 100-yard game. T.Y. Hilton looked good out there. Maybe the statistics didn't show up, but he had some really key first downs. I loved seeing that. And it's hard to say that a quarterback can be consistent when he doesn't have his guys like T.Y. and Pittman out there together. He did finally last night and put it all together. Not too much pressure from the Titans. And the Titans defense, Trey, shut out this Titans team in the second half.
Yeah, and the Pittman thing, it's like the draft process. It was 3 big names. It was Judy, it was Lamb, and of course it was Ruggs. It was Ruggs. And then it was like, there's a bunch of guys that are in that next tier, and Pittman was one of them, saying, hey, look what I did at USC. I was dominant and have a better body than all those guys. Okay, to your point, he's finally developing into that. The Titans weren't beating anybody last night with that special teams display. And this is nothing against Tennessee as a whole, but they will not win a playoff game if they keep things as is. It was atrocious. They make a huge 4th down stop. And Kyle, you mentioned this guy, Daniel, punts it right out of bounds. You can't win games this way. Not in the AFC, where it's loaded. All right, so what happens next? Naheem Hines comes right out there, and he scores the touchdown. Then there was this one here, a block punt.
They brought the house on that.
Like, but what are you going to do? Like, it's a tight game, 17-17. You can't have it. And then you bring out Gostkowski, who's a Super Bowl winner, and they've stood by him, and he missed so many field goals in that Monday night game, and he misses a chippy later on. Like, Tennessee, we're looking at it and say, oh, they got blown out, and we're raving about Indianapolis. If those things don't happen, then maybe you do have a shot with Derrick Henry. Maybe you do have a shot with... That was the quietest second half I've seen from an NFL team that's looking to be a playoff team. I look at Derrick Henry. It was the quietest 100 yards we've seen maybe all season. It was not insignificant. And A.J. Brown had 1 catch for 21 yards. We did flips yesterday.
I did, yeah.
About A.J. Brown.
Whole second.
You did, you did, I did. 1 catch, 21 yards, you're not one of the best wide receivers, or at least you're not one of the best combos. That's not going to be acceptable. That's not going to win any playoff game.
Well said. What did you make of Henry versus Leonard 5? It's Naheem Hines you're talking about this morning.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it was kind of an afterthought. You know, it's to Peter's point, Derrick Henry's longest run was 20 yards. There was no memes. There's no gifs. Darius Leonard did his thing, and it was like a fight that you go and you want to knock out, and it just went to the cards. It was inconsequential.
No doubt about it. And to your point, credit to the Colts special teams. Yeah. You get a new punter out there, right? He shanks one bad. And we're all like, whoo, that's a terrible punt. So what do they do on the next one?
Go after him.
They go after him. Sit in the house. Young fella sitting there, eyes wide, hands rattled, looking down the field, thinking, I got to get my foot on this. I got to get my foot on this. And they bring it, and they benefit from it, scoring a touchdown off of special teams. We oftentimes credit play calling on offense and defense. That special teams card right there, that was genius.
Panthers-Bucks this weekend. Let's bring in Ian Rappaport to get the latest on Christian McCaffrey. Ian, Rapsheet, thanks for joining us. What's the latest on CMC for this one?
Well, Christian McCaffrey got some good news this week, but it does not put him on the field in that big-time game on Sunday. McCaffrey is going to miss this Sunday's game, and of course, that's not great news considering he missed about 6 weeks with a high ankle sprain, came back last week, looked like the baller that we all know he is, took that hard hit on the sideline right there. You can see he's obviously in some discomfort, but he got a second opinion earlier this week, and that opinion was not bad news. From my understanding, though he's out this week, he has a realistic chance of being on the field next week against the Lions. In fact, there is some hope from the team that happens. So if all goes well, obviously they're going to watch him closely, make sure his rehab goes as they plan. But there is some belief right now that is just a one-game